Today on Repair Rebel. Mine. Oh, man, I hope you can put that back together. Okay, you know what you're doing. If you need to remove the front bumper on any 2008 to 2020 Dodge Grand Caravan or Chrysler Town & Country, it's really not that difficult. By removing the front bumper, you can service parts like removing and replacing the headlights and even getting into the radiator. You only need the most basic of hand tools, and I'll explain that as I go along. It's a good idea to wear a pair of gloves, as the parts of the car that you're going to get into have probably never been washed since new and are going to have a lot of grease and grime. To keep the bumper from coming off before you're ready, it's always best to start from the bottom and the side and work your way up to the top. It doesn't matter which side of the car you start on, but you're going to want to turn the wheel so that you can access these two bolts that hold the fender liner to the bumper. Using a standard number 2 Phillips head screwdriver, loosen up these two screws on both sides and remove them. Have your keys handy so that you can start the car up and be able to turn the steering wheel to move the tires out of the way from each side. To remove the bumper, the only socket size you need is 10mm. Using your wrench, you're going to find a 10mm bolt tucked just behind the very top corner of the bumper. This bolt is screwed into the fender. Simply loosen up and remove it from both sides. For this next part, you're going to need some basic tools to pull plastic Christmas tree style panel clips from the bottom of the bumper. You can use a flathead screwdriver and needle nose pliers to pull these clips out, but I prefer a clip panel puller tool. This tool does a better job of pulling on that panel clip without doing any damage to the clip or the surrounding plastic. Whichever way you go, you're going to find 4 of these Christmas tree style clips running along the bottom of the bumper. Take your time and remove all 4 of these clips. On my 2014 Dodge Grand Caravan, there was one more of these Christmas style clips just behind the driver's tire at the very corner of the fender liner, meeting up to another part of the bumper. Moving to the top of the bumper, underneath the hood, you're going to find 2 more plastic clips. These ones are a little bit easier to remove. Pull out the center clip and then pull out the mounting clip all as one unit. You can use a screwdriver and pliers or your clip pulling tool. At this point, the only thing really holding your bumper on are 2 bolts found towards the top corners underneath the hood. The bumper is also clipped in on the sides by the fender, but we'll get back to that in a second. Go ahead and loosen up these 2 bolts at the top corners of the bumper, but don't completely remove them. Keep them in within a few threads of coming out, as this will keep the bumper from falling out before you're ready. Going back to the side of the bumper, you're going to want to slightly push forward and pull out to release the clips at the side of the bumper to the fender. This can be a little jarring, but just pull, keep steady pressure, and they'll come loose. Once you have the sides of the bumper loose, the only thing holding the bumper on are the 2 bolts at the top that you left slightly screwed in. While supporting and holding the bumper with one hand, it only weighs a few pounds. Go ahead and remove those 2 bolts at the top. Now the bumper should be able to come free, and you can carefully put it over to the side. With the bumper removed, you now have full access to quite a bit of the front of the vehicle. To reinstall the bumper, start by hanging the bumper on the top frame and loosely putting in the 2 bolts to support the bumper in place. Do not fully tighten these 2 bolts down yet, just put them in far enough so that they're holding the bumper. Moving to one side of the bumper, press in the bumper clips into the receiving plastic piece found just below the fender. You may have to maneuver and wiggle the bumper clips to get them aligned and pressed into place. Take your time and keep steady pressure. Once you have both corners of the bumpers pressed into place, go ahead and screw in the 2 fender liner screws, but do not completely tighten them down yet. Also go ahead and reinstall the 10mm bolt that goes at the top corner of the bumper into the fender. Again, do not fully tighten yet. Moving to the bottom of the bumper, press in the Christmas tree style clips into the 4 holes that you removed them from. Don't forget to install the one behind the driver's tire. Move your way back to the top of the bumper and put in the last 2 plastic clips. You can fully insert all the clips tight. Moving back to one side of the bumper, go ahead and fully tighten the 10mm bolt that's located at the top corner of the bumper, making sure to align that corner to the fender. Go ahead and repeat the process on the other side of the bumper, and when both are done, you can go ahead and tighten the fender screws. Lastly, move to the top of the bumper and tighten down the 10mm bolts at each corner of the bumper. All bolts and screws on the bumper need to just be hand tight with possible quarter turn pass tight. You can close the hood and check for alignment and loosen up any bolts or screws if you need to make minor adjustments. And there you have it. Now you know how to remove and reinstall the bumper on a 2008 to 2020 Dodge Grand Caravan or Chrysler Town & Country. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment. Tell me what you thought. And remember, don't pay someone else to do it. Be a rebel. Do it yourself.